G'day everybody, Farmer Wade here for Billboard Battalion. Today is Thursday the 18th of December 2025, and today we've had the good fortune to be able to catch up with Victorian Senator for the Nationals, Bridget McKenzie.
Great to be with you, Wade, in Lockington pub of all places.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
I mean, we spend a lot of time in Canberra, we see each other, and here we are in downtown Lockington. What are the chances?
It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous day too.
I think it's really fitting actually. So Bridget, I wanted to talk to you about a few of the things that are happening in Parliament at the minute that I think are very, very serious, will seriously impact our ag sector.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then nobody at the minute can escape the tragic situation that happened on Bondi Beach last Sunday. So we'll look at that as well, because I think that is so serious.
Yeah, it's a turning point for our country, Wade.
Yes. So the Centre for Disease Control Bill, we probably won't go much on that at the minute because we'll run out of time if we try and expand it too much.
Exactly.
But that happened at the start of November, got across the line, which I think there's big problems for ag in our whole country. And what we're seeing from the Labor Party and the Greens, they are now combining, as they don't care about the other representatives of Australians in the Parliament. No,
not at all. Not at all. I think you've got the most anti-farming government our country's ever seen.
Without question.
And we export 80% of what we grow. Everyone's out there working really hard, whether you're an irrigator here in Lockington or a beef producer in central Queensland or a grain grower. Every single farmer's doing it tough with the input costs going through the roof. We're a country built on the back of farming, literally built on sheep's back. And now we've got the Labor Party under Anthony Albanese combining with the Greens.
Yep.
Doesn't matter whether it's water policy, environment policy, the Centre for Disease Control, our biosecurity laws, on any measure. And
I think, they've now got the green light to destroy ag. I think this is that serious. We've seen just recently they got the NEPA bill passed, the National Environmental Protection Agency, and that is dangerous. Also amendments to the EPBC Act. Now, we've actually seen some of the Nats have come out at that time and said this is an attack on farming.
Absolutely. We won't be able to clear land anymore. You won't be able to farm with our usual farming practices in a country as diverse as ours. And I think with that National Environmental Agency, it's going to be your state EPA on steroids. That's absolutely what's going to happen. They're going to have carte blanche access to farmers' property, being able to tell you what you can and can't do on your own land. So I think it's a real issue. People were trying to lobby the Nationals to say, something's better than nothing on the EPBC Act, but we held firm. And whilst it's in place, we've made commitments to roll this stuff back should we get back into government.
So, and I think people for far too long now have been just so complacent and not really taking an interest. I mean, we get called all over Australia with Billboard Battalion to come and present at people's places because they go, we don't know what's going on.
That's right. That's right. And you sort of outsource, in a democracy like ours, people outsource their legislation and their thinking about these type of issues to their representatives. And we need to make sure that as senators and MPs that we're reporting back to community on what's happening, because people's attention span is small. They've got a lot to do in their lives, and we need to make sure the messages we're getting to them, like what you're doing, are quick, interesting and informative.
And you've got to tie it to how it impacts them.
As 100%.
Because, and we're seeing that now, particularly in the Mallee and the Wimmera, with what's happening with
transmission lines, the solar panels, the wind towers under the Labor Party here in the state of Victoria, and it's happening elsewhere with this sort of industrial rollout of renewables and transmission lines, and to hell with the consequences on community, on your ability to produce food, on your mental health. I'm so proud of our farmers here in Victoria, Wade, when they took to the streets in Ballarat during the Bush Summit and really showed the Prime Minister and the Premier what they thought with their tractors and CFA
you couldn't have written a script.
I know.
I mean, to see
Wasn't
the footage of Albanese dodging traffic, it was like a scene out of the American, movies or something. And then you look around and there's all these tractors chasing him.
But this is the thing, I think, when we look overseas where, governments have tried to take power away from farmers' ability to produce food, UK, the Netherlands, other places in Europe, Paris, the farmers have had to really take their concerns to the capital city, shut the city down so that everyday people in that society can understand the struggles, because it's sort of a bit out of sight, out of mind.
And now, to tell you the truth on that subject, Bridget, I've got a few farmers now from all over Australia who are saying we need to seriously look at some kind of big rally, some kind of shutting down roads or shutting down cities or whatever, bringing tractors into town and trucks, tractors, road trains, semis, the whole lot.
Well, that's how you can send a message. Yep. There doesn't need to be violence involved, but it does need to be clear, because as people that live in the cities are very busy, they're running their lives, raising their kids, running their businesses. So for them to understand that it does impact, and you've seen the overseas how that can make a difference to governments changing their mind.
Well, look, if you don't say anything, and this is across the whole board, if you don't say anything, the people who are pushing the hardest are going to get what they want. So
100%, and decisions are made by those that turn up, right? So if you don't stand up, you are abdicating your future and your kids' future and your community's future to somebody else. So I think we're in really dangerous times under this government. You saw them shut down the live sheep trade.
Yep.
You're seeing them shutting down the forestry industry. You're seeing them shutting down the fishing industry in different states.
That's right. South Australia and Western Australia, they're in big trouble. They're putting all these want to put all these marine parks and national parks where they're going to put these wind turbines. That's
what are we going to? We're going to eat wind?
Oh, well, it's delicious, I've heard.
Are you picking asbestos out of your teeth?
that's wind food with a bit of a gourmet of bugs, crushed up bugs.
Some mollusks.
And we're thinking, oh my God.
No, and we laugh, but it's actually real. These Labor governments think that you can pay the fisherman for his licence, and that's right. But the reality is we'll be importing fish from other countries that don't have the tough environmental legislation that we do around catch sustainability. And same with our timber.
Oh, well, look, and the thing about
what are you going to do with the housing crisis with no timber?
Well, and as you know, like we spend a lot of time, our Billboard battalion spends a lot of time in Canberra Parliament, and we see the debates, and we see the Labor Party and the Greens give people lip service about providing housing, providing jobs, providing all this stuff. The Labor Party are barefaced liars. The Greens are barefaced liars.
The Greens are their accomplices.
They are.
Yeah, and having the unions in control of the skilled migration list, saying who can come in and who can't, shutting down our timber industry, meanwhile trying to build houses. It just doesn't add up. You've got to start making the tough decisions and putting your focus on the things that actually will make a difference.
And this is what the people need to understand, is that these people, they get on there at election time, they lie their guts out to you, and at the same time they're already organising the disasters while they're lying to you. Now we've seen the Greens talk about different things in Parliament there, these flags, that we've got a Green senator who says, he should be allowed to bring his Palestinian flag into Parliament.
Sorry, it's the Australian Parliament. There's only one flag we need in there, and that's the Australian flag.
And hell no to if we've got some senator who has already flagged, if you excuse the pun, he's already signalled his alliances with a foreign terrorist.
That's right. And we saw that with Lydia Thorpe when the king was out, right? Yelling out, "You're not our king," etc. I mean, where your allegiances sit doesn't really mean much when we're in peacetime. You can have a parliament full of people that don't love our country, and it doesn't really matter. It matters when you're in war, because you can't have a parliament not voting to go and do what needs to be done to keep our country safe, or having allegiances that are offshore.
And I think that the other part of that is it's having these people who hate Australia in Parliament that creates the wars.
Well, it allows the behaviour that we've seen on our streets, in our suburbs in particular, in Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane. We've seen anti-Semitism on the rise under Anthony Albanese, this sort of tacit approval for hating Jews, and that's now culminated in this horrific attack at Bondi Beach. We've been shamed on the global stage as a result of this, and been part of, Islamic terrorists' PR campaign at a global level.
Well, I mean, I really, it's painful to try and understand the Australians' mentality, and in particular the Labor and Greens mentality of they're saying how, they're anti-racist, they're anti-hate speech, and they're bringing them in. These are people, Bridget, who they themselves declare what their intentions are.
They're not hiding behind a bush.
Anything.
They literally got hate factories where hate preachers radicalise particularly young men.
Yes.
To the level that we saw manifest itself on Bondi. And if you ask the Jewish community, they warned and warned and warned the government that this is what would happen if you allowed the protests to go on. All those people that were marching across the Sydney Harbour Bridge that day, with Iranian Ayatollah Khomeini signs, with Hezbollah, Hamas symbols and flags, etc. You are marching with terrorist sympathisers. And we're all saying it's okay. What do you think's going to happen?
Where do you think that's going to end up?
Yes.
I mean, and I really, like we were in the lower house when we saw Albanese be challenged on the ISIS bride.
Yes.
We were sitting there looking straight across the aisle at Sleazebag Albanese and the rest of them. Butler, Burke,
Bowen,
Wong.
Yes.
These people, they are the terrorists.
Well, they're destroying our country and our way of life. Absolutely.
I realise you possibly can't say that, but I can, and I do.
You can, and
I do regularly.
I'll do non-verbal communication. But I don't know if you were in the Senate when we were having the debate around racism, and Marine Faruqi was yelling out, calling, us all racist. All you white people are the problem.
Yep.
And, my contribution was, well, you can't stand in a place like this and call us all racist and think that's actually going to heal the nation. As a leader, you have to take responsibility for your own actions as well as trying to bring about unity.
And what those actions, and I've seen her many, many times, actually, and I did a live at Canberra when they were talking about the the racial discrimination. The 50th anniversary of the racial discrimination bill, right?
Yep.
And I did a live then, and I spoke specifically about her, and a number of the other Labor senators that spoke. They are full of crap. I mean, they get up there and they spruik all this stuff that all sounds great. I almost vote for them myself listening to it. Yeah. And then you go, hang on a minute, I know what you people really are doing. So they're creating this disunity. The big thing is social colour. We can't muck up social colour. Have you seen what these people are saying?
Absolutely. You can't be calling for a global intifada from the river to the sea, which is about killing Jews.
Absolutely.
And when it actually arrives on your doorstep, to be suddenly surprised. That is what's happened this week. And I think it's been really interesting, Wade, to see everyday Australians are alive to this. They've seen what's happening to their country, and it's fascinating to see that I think that silent majority is really standing up to be counted now.
Well, I think...
they did in The Voice.
Yes. And we've got the state governments who are trying to bring it in anyway. But I think it's Chris Minns, now the New South Wales Premier. Now, they're going to recall Parliament before
Next
Christmas
week.
to bring in tougher, tighter gun laws, and I haven't seen it yet because they tell us it's not written yet, but to...
What could go wrong? We're going to draft it over the weekend.
Yeah, we may as well do that, and get all these government lawyers there who... Anyway, let's not talk about them.
let's not get distracted.
I know it's a bit of a, you don't talk about it, but I will later.
Okay.
So they're writing up this stuff now. Don't tell me this wasn't already sitting there waiting.
They've been salivating to want to do this, right? And as I said on Monday, the day after this horrific, heinous attack happened, it's not the guns. It's Islamic terrorism that isn't somewhere else. It's not in the Middle East. It's not in Europe. It's not in Afghanistan. It is in our suburbs now.
Right now.
And I know that has made people feel very uncomfortable that it's been named like that.
Well, facts are facts.
Correct. And we've got to start calling things for what it is.
Yep.
It's Islamic terrorism and it's homegrown. And we need to clamp down on that, not on law-abiding firearm owners like myself and yourself, I'm assuming. At
the end of the day, as believe it or not, the Saturday, the 13th, before the massacre in Bondi, we were doing a town hall meeting in Gamaraka in South Australia, LA Foothills there.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this very stuff.
Yeah.
And not 24 hours later, here it is.
Right? And this is why I think a lot of Australians have watched our country over the last 2 years with an unease, a growing unease and an inability to recognise it. Jewish businesses boycotted, smashed up, kids going to kindergarten under armed guard, synagogues being bombed as if it's, Germany 1938, and being spat on, and those protests of hate, and watching our country change, knowing this is where it'd end up. But on Minns bringing back Parliament to instigate gun reforms, this is just a distraction because under Premier Minns, Labor State Premier in New South Wales, and Prime Minister Albanese, Labor Prime Minister, anti-Semitism has exploded.
Absolutely.
They've done nothing about it.
No.
And so they're using guns as the distraction to avoid taking responsibility.
And I think to further that, if we look at Western Australia, just recently, they've been attacking farmers and taking guns. And I don't mean attacking as in physically, but they've been turning up all around Western Australia now, taking guns off farmers.
Yep.
So this is the trend. They want to disarm Australia.
They want to disarm Australia. If you're a primary producer, it is about animal husbandry that you actually have a firearm. It's pest management, right? So there's a whole raft of reasons you need a firearm to humanely end the life of one of your animals because it's broken a leg or,
Yeah, you need to put it down.
100%.
And there's many
in a way that's kind and swift. So I think it's appalling and once again just shows how ideological Labor is when they get their hands on power.
Oh, absolutely. And this very sadly, every time something happens, I've got to ban more guns.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've now got farmers who are looking up and going, hey, something's going on here. And I mean, honestly, the farmers are the slowest ones in the world to waken about absolutely anything.
Come on, Wade.
So I was talking to some
but they're busy on farm doing stuff.
Well, I was talking to some blokes the other day, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, I was saying something. He said, oh, look, we're just about into harvest. We can't do this. I said, mate, I've been saying this just before harvest 10 years ago. How many harvests? So they're not politically. They don't want to be out there arguing political points.
No, they don't. And that's sort of why the National Party set up, because it was the union, a farmers' union that went political, right, back in the 20s. And so that is our role in federal and state parliaments around the country. And it's a role we take very, very seriously.
Well, I think there's a lot of things, like we just discussed those things there now.
We should catch up when you're in Canberra.
I think that'd be great.
Next year.
Because we'll be there,
Yeah.
just in case we've got some tidal wave, some nuclear attack or something, but we'll be there. And I expect the Labor Party won't like to see us much because we used to bump into them and talk to everyone every now and again, someone in the passages, which is a big benefit of being there. But now they're They're nasty.
They're onto you.
Because we're just calling it as it is.
Yeah.
We're not playing games.
No, 100%. And we've had the EPBC Act go through. They've got rid of live export of sheep out of WA. The next fight, I think, for farmers is going to be on water next year. You'll see, I think PM Albanese gave Murray Watt 2 jobs, EPBC Act and the Murray-Darling Basin. So that's the thing I'm terrified about, and particularly in communities like this. And we met many years ago in the water fight, the first round. And
as we've seen now, we have the benefit of hindsight. We've seen the effects on agriculture, on food production,
mental health, communities.
I've maintained for years and years, mental health is one of their targets. I think that, one of the ways they knock out farmers is they
take out your heart.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And we've seen this now from the massive number of suicides in the agricultural sector.
That takes me back, when the Prime Minister, there was that young woman who stood up at the Bush Summit with a noose.
Yes.
And the Prime Minister took it as a threat. I said, mate, you need to take this as a warning. She's trying to send you a message that if you keep doing this to her communities and our food productive industries, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and
they won't take it out on you, they'll take it out on themselves.
Well, I mean, it's I know back when the main attack of the Murray-Darling Basin Plan was happening, I know personally people who
Yep. Anyway, we want to say thank you for producing our food and keep going, because we're best in the world at it. And there are people like Wade and people like me who are fighting day in and day out to make sure we get to keep doing what we're doing in the regions.
And I think also, people say we're just going to import it. Well, I'm here to tell you, farmers across the world are under attack.
Yeah.
We're seeing things happening right across Europe, in the US. Food production is not going to be what they think it is, where they just go, we'll just get a boatload of stuff from somewhere else.
And that's what I think, the whole net zero debate globally has really driven a lot of that. We're not going to eat beef, we're going to eat plant protein, etc., etc., etc. Eat crickets. I think there was a movement about eating insects once.
We actually bought a bag, something looks like a bag of chips. It's a bag of crickets. I'm not joking.
No.
Just for the point of having it to say this stuff is real.
So I think now that that's being unpicked as the con job it is, we're going to hopefully see globally some sense back into primary production.
Well, we're seeing people understand the risk it is because it's now affecting so many people. The policies, the policies of net zero, the policies of all this, people are now seeing what that means in real life on them. That's right.
So, the laws of economics and physics don't change just because, lefties getting control of the UN and our government. So it's nice to see some sense prevail. So are we getting the wind up?
I think so. We might I just want to touch on this Senate committee that we've heard just at the end of this year. They're hearing submissions on the misinformation, disinformation about climate change. Now, what I see from that is next year, the Greens and Labor are going to introduce legislation that is going to make it illegal to say anything against the whole man-made climate change thing. Anything against, if you've got a farm, don't want them coming on there, you will not be allowed to speak. Anybody in the town who runs out of electricity through their credits or what have you, they're not going to be allowed to say anything. I think this is so serious, and we're also looking at the thing with MINS and so on, this terrible tragedy where people are saying something, whether they start to shut down your legal right to speak about something.
Absolutely. Well, a liberal democracy like ours is only as successful as it is because we're all allowed to respectfully disagree and agree.
Yep.
And if you start saying that there's right opinions and wrong opinions in a democracy, that isn't a democracy anymore, it's a totalitarian state. So we'll be fighting that every step of the way, Wade.
And I think we'll just finish on this. I think we've seen, I know in Victoria the last couple of years we've had a lot of new legislation about hate speech and this and that and stereotyping people.
Look what's happened.
And so therefore...
hasn't stopped anything.
When you openly see a lot of these Islamists and the extreme ones, there's a hell of a lot of great Muslims in Australia. I know plenty of them.
Yeah.
They just want to just get on and do whatever. It's the radical ones. and they say the most horrendous, hateful stuff, but the government doesn't say a word about that.
That's right. And so you have to look at what governments do, not just what they say.
Exactly.
And so they're talking a tough game, but they've had 2 years to deport these people, and they've done nothing.
And they knew what they were doing. They know 100%. What they're like before they bring them in. And as I said,
that's why we need to screen visa holders, and we also need a discriminatory migration system. It's time.
Yes, it is. It's well and truly. All right. Well, I think that's a good place to finish on, Bridget. I would just like to say thanks very much for making time available today. And it'd be really great to catch up in Canberra again and do just a few more, just to keep people up to speed.
Absolutely. Happy to help.
And I think next year in Parliament is going to be even more dangerous.
I do.
So we need people to be fighting even harder. And we're on Marine Faruqi's case. She doesn't like us very much, but
join the club.
That's her problem.
Absolutely. And Merry Christmas to all your viewers.
And same to you too.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bridget.
All right. See you, mate.
Catch you.